So I was sitting on the TV watching the couch and I thought, today is the first day of April and there's a thing called Vida, or video every day in April. I thought, why not give it a go? So at least I'm going to try that. I'm going to try to every weekday upload one video a day. Let's see if it works out or not. Anyways, into the video. I wondered how close the GH5 and the C100 match. I've had this camera for a bit, but I've really been using the GH5 a lot more often. So we're going to put the GH5 into Cine D picture profile and the Canon into C-Log because they're kind of comparable in that regard. I have the Canon 16mm and the Sigma 18-35. I can film at 18mm and 16mm just so I can do this comparison. Yes, it would be better to have the same lens, but I don't have two of each. So anyways, let's pop these guys on. Alright, so I have the cameras roughly in place, just side by side, kind of trying to match it the best I can. We are shooting in Vlog for this first test on the GH5 and C-Log on the Canon C100. And we are about 5600 Kelvin, both are matched. So the colors do appear a bit differently since they're completely different cameras. But I thought it'd be really interesting just to see how well the C100 does handle for 2019, even competing against these cameras. We are shooting in the 4K on the GH5 because I figured a lot of people are going to be shooting 4K. On the C100, unfortunately you can't, but I've been impressed with the 1080p. I have the Canon C100 at its native ISO at 850, the GH5 is at ISO 800 at f2, and with the 16mm we're at f2. So yeah, this is as close as I can get it and just this really rough test, but it is really cool to see if there are any differences. So I just switched the picture profile to their standard or natural profile, and on the GH5 we're now shooting in Cine D. So we can tell and judge basically out of the camera how the colors and all of that looks. Now I'm not really a fan of using the Cine D straight out of the camera on the GH5 because you still need to kind of massage it in editing to make it look really good. But this is what the cameras are giving us, so I thought it'd be pretty fair. Now on this natural profile, I believe the C100 is applying a sharpening, so it's making it a little digitally crisper. On the GH5, no digital sharpening whatsoever. One more test, I threw the GH5 into 1080p 24 frames per second and at 24 megabits per second. Now this file size reflects pretty closely to what the C100 is recording in. 24 megabits per second is really not a whole lot, but that does mean you get a much smaller file size, which is kind of a plus on the C100. So this test is more of a real world setup, it's not really anything scientific. I did shoot a little cinematic kind of B-roll with the same Sigma 18-35 lens on each. Let's have a look at that. Were you able to tell a difference between the different cameras? If you did, let me know in the comments. I find it really interesting and I really like the look coming from the GH5. It's really crisp, really sharp, and it even has a nice shallow depth of field with the speed booster and the Sigma lens. On the C100, we're still getting really nice footage. However, it does seem to be a bit crusty around the edges, let's say. It's not as sharp, but it's like kind of, in a way, digitally sharpened maybe. It does look a bit more filmic in some ways. but it really boils down to how you use your camera. So this has been a fun test comparing straight up the image quality from the C100 and the GH5. If it's been beneficial to you, maybe you're considering purchase either of these cameras, hopefully it has been beneficial, and you can let me know in the comments down below. Now, I am planning to do a video every weekday, so if you have any questions, Q&A related, or topic suggestions, let me know in the comments, and maybe that will be a future video discussion. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.